Now, it's it's funny because I wrote today, and here's what happened. Saturday night, everything kind of hit the fan with that 2-point conversion try. Well, instead of staying up and writing about it and thinking about it and trying to harvest some information, I had a long day coming up on Sunday. I went to bed and slept 8 hours because Sundays in season are long ass days. So I decided I'm going to see where this all stands in the morning. Let's see how it's being processed. Let's see how it's being digested. And as soon as I got up and Matt Casey and I were communicating about things we'd possibly be chasing for the Sunday Night Football Night in America show, we wanted to try to get to the bottom of the rabbit hole on whatever it was that happened with that 2-point conversion attempt where Dan Skipper didn't report, Taylor Decker did report, and referee Brad Allen got it flipped around. So what I did yesterday, I started harvesting information in the morning, carried it into the afternoon, and held it in the event. And you never know how a Sunday is going to go. What are the big stories going to be? Are there going to be injuries that we need to weave into the Football Night in America broadcast? By the time we got to Sunday night, there really wasn't the occasion to rewind the clock to the prior day. So what I ended up doing was holding everything that I had accumulated yesterday. And as soon as I woke up this morning, because it's not like there was some big story to write about coming out of the Sunday night game between the Packers and the Vikings, it was time to go get all that stuff downloaded and explain what happened. That's why, because I think some are like, well, what took you so long to address this? Well, that's why it took me that long to address it. And I also wanted to have real information, not supposition, not conjecture, not I think it was this, I think it was that. Because the first question is this going to spark some sort of a change to the way you go to the referee and report as eligible? Remember when the Patriots did the thing with the eligible, ineligible player, and they had an ineligible player lined up in an eligible position in the slot, but he wasn't eligible. And that got the Ravens all pissed off, possibly pissed off enough that they tipped the Colts off to the whole deflated football thing. There's still a belief that it all traces back to the Ravens and how pissed off they were. And Tom Brady saying, know the rules, or words to that effect. What happened after that was the NFL made a change to the gamesmanship aspect of this whole reporting, not reporting, where you put the eligible guys, where you put the ineligible guys. There's not going to be a change coming out of this one, because that's the initial reaction from the league. The league's position is basically they flew too close to the sun on wings of pastrami. The Lions tried to get cute. The Lions effed around and found out. They tried to confuse the Cowboys, and in confusing the Cowboys, they confused Brad Allen. You have to factor that in to this effort. This isn't just about running a play where Taylor Decker is going to be the eligible receiver. This is about, before the play, creating the false impression that Dan Skipper was going to be the eligible receiver and that Taylor Decker was not going to be the eligible receiver. Because Skipper runs out toward Brad Allen. If Skipper is not going to be eligible, he's got no reason to go toward Brad Allen. He's got no reason to do what he does every time he reports as eligible. And I was counting it up for the season. Like, I was over 30 when I finally said, okay, Skipper does this a lot. He did it 6 times last week against the Vikings. So he is their tight end in their jumbo package. So he's reporting on a regular basis. So here comes Skipper to report. Skipper's coming out to report. Brad Allen sees Skipper coming at him. Now, remember this. It's loud. These are human beings. There's a lot of stuff happening. If you've ever been down on the sideline of a full stadium, it's kind of overwhelming. Well, you take that and you walk out onto the field, it's a different vibe altogether. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just trying to get people to understand this is the stew of factors that you're dealing with. So what the Lions wanted to do, and I don't fault them for this, they just have to accept the fact that it worked too well because it fooled the official in addition to fooling the Cowboys. They didn't just want to have a guy report as eligible, and then once that guy reports as eligible, there's a big arrow pointing at him that they might throw a pass to him. They wanted to set it up so the Cowboys would think the guy the arrow's pointing at is ineligible. and a guy that they're not paying attention to is going to slip through the cracks and catch the pass. Now, did they really need to do that? I don't know. Would the play have worked if they hadn't tried to fool the Cowboys? We'll never know. But they tried to fool the Cowboys. And in so doing, they fooled Brad Allen. It's that simple. And look, deception is a key aspect of the game of football. You are rewarded for successfully fooling your opponent. It happens all the time. I've said for years, one of the reasons why coaches and general managers and owners lie their asses off is because you're rewarded for successfully deceiving in a game. Where does that line extend once we get beyond the confines of a game? And within a game, is it fair game to try to essentially lie, deceive, fool an opponent by the way you're communicating, by the way you're shuttling the players in and out? Here comes Dan Skipper heading for Brad Allen. Oh, hey, this is their jumbo tight end. He's reporting as eligible. And then Taylor Decker walks over with Penei Sewell. So it's not obvious. This is the genius of it. It really is. It really is a smart maneuver. It's Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker walking in one direction toward Brad Allen. Here comes Dan Skipper the other way. The idea is to get the Cowboys to think Skipper's the guy who's eligible. But Brad Allen believed Skipper is the guy who's coming in to report. And you can Zapruder film the available video and say, oh, there's Brad Allen acknowledging Taylor Decker. Look, it's all happening in real time. And it's all happening according to the usual procedure. And there's no freaking reason for Dan Skipper to run toward Brad Allen if he's not trying to create the impression he's reporting when he really isn't. It was gamesmanship. It was deception. And it's fair game, I suppose. The problem is they fooled Brad Allen. And this is the one unanswered question. And I've seen some text come through while we're doing this that Dan Campbell's talking to reporters today. Somebody needs to ask him. And I tried yesterday. Somebody needs to ask him. He declined to talk about it. Somebody needs to ask him. You said after the game that you covered this in the pregame meeting with the officials. Now, I'm told Brad Allen wasn't in that meeting, just a couple of members of the crew. All the more reason if you're not just telling them, hey, we got a play in today where we're going to throw it to Taylor Decker. But you know what? Come here. When we do the play, we're going to try to fool the Cowboys. We want them to think that 70 is going to be eligible. So he's going to run out toward the referee while Taylor Decker, 68, plus another lineman kind of nonchalantly move over toward the referee. And one of them is going to report, but 70's not going to do it. But we're doing that because we want to fool the Cowboys. Are you okay with that? We okay with that? See, when you sound it out that way, do you really think that Dan Campbell explained it that way to the members of Brad Allen's crew? I want to know, what did Brad Allen know about that play? What did Dan Campbell say in that pregame meeting? Because I don't think it's fair for him to say, we went over this to a T. Well, you may have gone over the play, but you didn't go over the setup. And the setup was aimed at fooling the Cowboys. And it successfully fooled. Congratulations. You win the Oscar. You successfully fooled the official as well. And I really did get a kick out of the reaction by some on social media. And I'm carrying the NFL's water and I'm defending the officials. You must be new here if you think I'm just going to blindly defend them. I'm going to criticize them when they need to be criticized. I'm an advocate for tearing the whole operation down and rebuilding it. I'm an advocate for full-time officials. If they make a mistake, I'm not going to be the last guy to say it. I'm going to be the first guy to say it. In this case, what happened was the Lions induced a mistake. In their zeal to fool the Cowboys, they fooled Brad Allen. Period. And to the extent that Brad Allen's crew has made some mistakes this year, you got to factor that in to which crew you're going to use that ruse against. Because maybe Brad Allen's crew was the most likely to be fooled. by this effort to fool the Cowboys.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis.